Hello everyone. So today let's talk about one area which is a pain for new Jira users, or in fact a consultant like me, for someone who has been doing a lot of wonderful things with Jira for uh, for many years. Now this pain is capacity management. Now, capacity management in Jira, although it is possible, but it is not really straightforward. You usually need to use an app, and even after using an app, you are not really going to get uh, the ideal capacity management solution within Jira. Now, let us say you are thinking of moving to Jira, or maybe you're already using Jira, right? Now, for majority of people, and this is very important for majority of people who want to use Jira or any tool like Jira, to be honest, nothing to do with Jira, but the expectation is that this tool will have the information about my resources, right? So we are talking about resources like a team of, let us say, 20 or 200 developers, testers, whatever. And then at the same time, you may want to know, based on this team of mine, what is my uh, availability of, or basically, if I talk about a specific team or maybe a specific resource, you may want to know as a manager or someone who is responsible for planning the work, you may want to know, okay, I want to deliver something in the month of October, but do I have enough resources? Do I have maybe enough capacity in that particular month? Now, natively in Jira, uh, and I'll also talk about agile. So I know that you'll probably say that yes, we can, we don't really need to do about, we don't really need to worry about these things if you're following agile, or if you uh, are maybe thinking of adopting agile based methodologies. But uh, whether you're using agile or not, I think still you need to know, you need to store it somewhere, like the information about your resources. Now, let us say in Jira you do have like a list of, let us say, epics, because epics is a bit high level, and then you may want to assign those epics to someone, or maybe you want to break up those epics to create, of course, stories. But imagine that you are a project manager, and or maybe a scrum master, and you are maybe starting on a new project, and this new project is, let us say, going to take maybe 6 months. Let us say it takes 6 months, and maybe if not 6 months, maybe 3 months, right? Let us not go too far into the future. And you are given some resources. When I say some resources, let us say you have a team of 20, 25 people, and maybe those resources would be working maybe in 2 or 3 scrums. So let us say that is your responsibility, and it's not really, a massive, it's not really a massively difficult thing to do, right? You might think that, yeah, I just have 20 resources. I just need to plan the work among those resources for the next few months. How hard it could be, right? Now, in Jira, imagine that you are now creating maybe epics, or maybe you have a project, or maybe you have already done some work by creating different issues, maybe stories, and you have done some assignments. First of all, it is not always possible to have a visibility of what needs to be done, even high level, in the beginning. So you don't really have always the list of items, basically issues, which you will hopefully assign to someone. At the same time, natively in Jira, I know we can use plans, and plans. If you're on data center, you have plans. If you are on Jira premium version, you of course have the option to create portfolio plans of, I should say plan, not even advanced roadmap now. So you can actually create a team, or maybe if you have your own project for that particular maybe scrum, or maybe different scrums, you can in a way add people to that particular project, maybe in one of the role, and then maybe you can treat those team members added to your roles as a team. It might work, but again, there is no way, there is no straightforward way in Jira that can tell you that yes, these are my 20 resources, or 10 resources, or 5 resources, and these resources are going to be available for me uh, on these dates or maybe these weeks in the next 6 months. You can't really do that easily. I mean, as I just mentioned, you can probably create some issues and then use those issues as like a placeholder for the items that needs to be delivered. But still, it is not very easy to have this view. I know there are apps like Tempo Planner. I mean, I use Tempo Planner. I like it. It is good. And let us say, and by the way, there are other ways of doing it. You can definitely use either Tempo Planner or maybe you can use advanced roadmap plans where, I mean, when you're using advanced roadmap, you can, of course, have list of epics, right? And then you can, or maybe features or whatever issue type levels that you may have configured. And when you have those epics or whatever in your advanced roadmap plan, you can then assign it to a team. That might work, but it won't really give you the capacity management view because advanced roadmap expects you to follow agile. But what I'm talking about here is that you need a view where you need to plan something maybe on a specific day because that will give you a very good clarity on how much capacity you have based on, let us say, a new requirement, or maybe let us say you are in the middle of a project and someone is asking you to deliver something, and you know roughly it will take maybe 100 man days. But can you deliver it in the month of October? Can you deliver it in the month of November? You're not really sure, right? Unless you are truly agile and you're using advanced roadmap and you're using story points and you feed this information to your advanced roadmap plan, then it might help you. But there is no visual way of basically telling you straightforward in a straightforward way that yes, I can deliver it or I can take this work maybe in the next quarter. And okay, so let us talk about Tempo Planner. Tempo Planner is great. I like it because it will basically do exactly what I'm talking about here. Like it will give you this view on a calendar where you can plan something. So you have your list of resources, right? And then you can plan what those resources would be doing for the next few months, right? So you can plan on a timeline. And when you're planning it, you're basically using actual issues in Jira, and it is in a way going to help you. But this works mostly because when you are planning something or when you are basically allocating uh, some resources to those activities, you are basically telling that okay, this resource will work on this activity, this epic, for example, or this story, for example, maybe for 7 hours or 5 hours per day for the next 2 weeks. That might help, but again, in this case, we are talking about number of hours. Now, if you're using agile or purely agile, then again, this will in a way help you. For example, imagine you have a tempo plan, right? And based on this tempo plan, you may want to now do some planning maybe for your own Scrum team. So you can maybe use this as a reference where because Tempo will give you this information about okay, these are the resources, and and these resources are supposed to work on these activities for X number of hours. But you don't really have an easy way to use this information when you're planning. Let us say you're planning your sprint, right? So when you're planning a sprint, in that particular sprint, you start with, of course, by creating a sprint. Then you add what stories need to be delivered, and those stories might be allocated to these resources. But even if you're using estimation, which is based on number of hours, you don't really have an easy way to easily figure out, or your agile board will not really prompt you that yes, you are allocating uh, this resource, these many stories within a single sprint. So it is in a way not very straightforward. Tempo Planner can help you because you have different ways, different filters, different views, different reports, and you can also use Tempo Planner along with Tempo timesheets. Basically, it will give you this idea um, about the actual, because when people work, they uh, will log time. If you're asking them to log time, which again is not always easy, because I don't really like logging my time. If you're ask, I mean, I do it if I have to bill my clients because I will earn money from it. So I do it for sure, but it is not always easy to have this process in a company where you're asking your employees to fill timesheets unless you are too strict about it. So what I'm trying to say is that Yes, you can do capacity management in Jira. Yes, there are ways, there are workarounds, and you do have apps, you do have advanced roadmaps, you do have apps like Big Picture, for example, and you can always utilize your own easy BI based reports. But I think this is definitely one area where Atlassian, I think they have to do something about it. I think it should be there should be some inbuilt capability or like a clear way of managing resources, irrespective of whether teams are following agile or not. Because what if I don't really want to follow agile, but I still want to know what my resources are going to be, what my resources are going are basically supposed to do in the next few months. Of course, Tempo will give you this view, but again, using tempo planned hours is not always straightforward and easy. So I know in this video I'm just talking about some pain points. There are solutions, but at the same time I can so whenever people ask me about this, okay, because I work with clients where they want to use Jira because they know the benefits of Jira, but they always talk about capacity management. Yes, we can do capacity management, but I try to understand a bit more what exactly they want to do when it comes to capacity management and what is their expectation from the tool. Because my responsibility as a consultant is to tell my clients what is possible, what is not possible, what is possible with the help of an app, and what is possible with the help of an app, but it won't really uh, be a nice solution that will fit your requirements. So, um, in the recent few weeks or months, I guess there are some new features that are coming in Jira Work Management and the way people work or interact with Jira Work Management. I think Jira Work Management, I think I've started liking it when it came out. Initially, I was not really sure, but I think it is useful because Jira Work Management now gives you different ways to manage your work. But that is Jira Work Management, right? That is not really your Jira software based project. I mean, Jira software, if I look at Jira software based projects, nothing has changed. I still remember Greenhopper. I'm not really sure if you know about Greenhopper. Things were different when it was Greenhopper, Rapid Boards, and then, of course, after Jira 5 and Jira 6 came out, it was, of course, Jira software. And since Jira 6, I don't really think there is any significant change when it comes to the way Jira software-based projects work. But I think there should be a native feature in Jira to store this information about teams and their availability. And now, basically, if Atlassian adds this feature, then people will stop using Excel for managing their resource list and their holidays. I mean, what you can also do with Tempo Planner is that you can also create like one task for holiday. So you can, in a way, also use Tempo Planner for doing vacation kind of thing, right? It is possible. It works nicely, but it is of course based on an app. And when it comes to Jira, people say that yes, Jira is a project management tool, and you can do project management with Jira, but they also expect capacity management. So I think capacity management is definitely one feature which should be native, I believe, in Jira. All right, that is it. That is all. Bye bye.